Hi, my name's Tony Ridley and welcome back to another Crisis Leadership and Management Education tutorial. In this segment we're talking about communications in terms of collection, distribution and publication. This subset that we're going to focus on now, we're going to identify the opportunity and collection for both impartial validation of social sentiment as well as online open source intelligence relating to either the crisis, our reputation, or the effectiveness of our own push communications in the event of distribution and publication requirements. So the first thing is we've spoken about internal collection with the opportunity in seizing the collection potential from on-ground resources, remote access to our own facilities, social media with internal to the organisation, as well as the collection and documentation and storage and certainly the analysis of such information. Also recapping the collection of external contributions from media, government, local authorities, search engines, social media, as well as any contractor suppliers and vendors that we may have. And it's paramount that information is collected, stored and analysed appropriately and referenced and put into the consideration and decision-making cycle so as we're ensuring evidence-based decision-making rather than speculation, gut feeling and unqualified hypotheses. So some of the key elements that can be used or capitalised in this scenario for both routine and priority collection of information or subject matter isolation is RSS feeds. So using specific feeds and websites and news correlations to stream in live data and content rather than having to revisit websites, check email inboxes. RSS feeds are a great way for a synopsis, headline, first paragraph content. Many facilitators, sites, service providers use such feeds so as you can either collect or review either mobile, remotely or consolidated. The other thing is visual graphics, such as Google Maps, for example, when we're talking about disaster or natural events. Much of the information is aggregated and pooled. Google has quite a comprehensive system and mechanism for both mapping and consolidation and visualizing affected areas. These information can both be effective for not only the collection but the publication and communication of information so as internal and or external stakeholders have a faster visual acquisition and comprehension of information we're trying to communicate. Google Alerts is an excellent tool for qualifying keywords, phrases, headlines, brands, products and services, even names and so on can be identified. Published anything from daily to upon occurrence to weekly aggregated, and this can also be converted and put into an RSS feed. So much like a ticker tape with the old stock reports, you can get real-time information on developing events, content and information. Furthermore, Google Insights, Google Trends is a great aggregator and impartial or objective third-point view of key terms and phrases for specific periods of time, key locations, various categories, as well as for spotting breakout trends as they may or may not affect us or the particular category of the event that we're looking at. And in particular, it represents an excellent graphical interface to isolate and identify key terms and phrases. So particularly when we're looking for objectivity, to identify in the public eye or in the broad spectrum how much attention or interest is apportioned, remembering back to our stakeholder analysis, how much interest is apportioned to a particular event, term, phrase or incident. We can use this tool to isolate and verify our suspicions, our concerns, or at least provide us with qualitative data to make empirical or evidence-based decisions to ensure that we're not over or underreacting depending on the crowds. Google Trends also, which is a convergence between trends and insight. Now both similar tools in terms of identifying single or multiple approaches to be able to capitalize on, as I said, keyword phrases, and this is where keyword research and specific terms and reference and general search phrases are extremely helpful to verify the distribution of a press release, for example, the viral nature of a video, or anywhere where references may be made on, about, or in relation to products, services, brands, reputation, incidents, crises, and so on. It's also great as a reverse tool in terms of collection, because it helps qualify the source to determine whether the source is one of an authority or simply remarketed, cut and paste, copied from somewhere else. And in particular, it provides great analytical graphical tools to identify spikes in trends and processes. Now these platforms are constantly changing and beta tested, and labs, Google in particular, is quite innovative in this space. So some of these details may vary slightly. However, location, activity, trends, volume, and origin of interests are all extractable data points that are very, very useful for communications platforms and processes. And then, of course, Google itself is a general search engine, or any of the search engines, and it's a good thing to vary the SERPs, the search engine results page, and verify and confirm through Bing and Yahoo being the largest three. But you can also then contextualize your search to a specific region. So rather than Google Australia, it could be Google UK, Google US, Google in a different language, and so on. And many individuals and organizations forget that if you simply put in the names of groups, companies, organizations, individuals, even email addresses, this sort of data and information can yield results that you can qualify within the last 30 days, today, the last month. And again, it helps forms an overall information and or intelligence process. Likewise with domains, websites, www. Whatever that may be, you can implant this information or embed this information and find references and backlinks, again, to determine the popularity, the origin of an article, or the viral nature of a piece of information that's either been published or distributed. And notwithstanding the final search engine results, it's important real estate, and it's constantly changing. So it is important to know that the variable results may bring back universal search, as it's referred to, may bring back anything from videos to images to headlines to blogs to news articles, Wikipedia references, and so on. So it's important to make sure that it's not just simply a case of the first page, but also the varying qualifying aspects. Now, the other thing to remember too from a marketing perspective is that videos and images attract the eye and tend to get far more conversions and interest than the majority of other posts. So what that means is, if you're not communicating in a visual way and somebody else, whether it be a media, a protagonist, or someone along those lines, if they're using images and videos and they're effective and capable at it, then their information and their content may dominate all other search results. Conversely, if somebody's looking for information on you, on the event, affected individuals, products, services, so on and so forth, particularly good for things like product recall, internal crises, brand integrity, product services, and intellectual property related issues. So once again, that's a brief synopsis and an overview of the potential for online searches and open source intelligence to both collect, verify, and measure publication results. These are all free, readily available tools. There's far more sophisticated monitoring and tracking systems, which we won't be covering in this section here, but we've touched on in other tutorials, and more information will follow in further discussion points. So for further information and more tutorials and information and advice in this area on crisis leadership and management, please visit the website at www.crisismanagement.tony-ridley.com. And that's all for now on this subject. Thanks very much. Goodbye.